Giorgio Armani, story of elegance, fashion, and discipline. It's the late 1950s. Italy is rising from the ruins of war. Wounded cities are rebuilt, brick by brick. Hands return to work, and with the walls, dreams are reborn. Milan awakens like a promise. Trams echo through buildings still under construction. Cafes fill with laughter. On the radio, Mina sings Tintorella di Luna. Adriano Celentano makes Italy dance with 24,000 baci. American jazz vibrates through the nightclubs. It's a city alive with energy. There's a hunger for freedom, for lightness, for the future. It's a time of rebirth. The economic boom sets the city in motion. Factories roar. The textile industry grows. Tailoring becomes a social engine. Fashion stops being just luxury. It becomes identity. In Piazza Duomo, La Rinascente shines like a beacon. A palace of light and dreams where people stop to look, as if glimpsing a possible future reflected in the glass. And within those reflections, a fair-eyed boy watches in silence. He doesn't speak, he learns. He understands that elegance is not just what you wear, but what you feel. That boy's name is Giorgio Armani, and this is his story. Before we dive into the extraordinary story of Giorgio Armani, I invite you to subscribe to this YouTube channel, Quotes of Style. Here, you'll find the most fascinating and inspiring stories from the world of fashion, along with the quotes that have defined eras and shaped style. Click the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss our upcoming exclusive videos. Thank you. Now, let's step into the world of Giorgio Armani and discover how a man guided by discipline, restraint, and vision redefined elegance, transformed fashion into a language of balance and freedom, and left an enduring mark on the history of style. Giorgio Armani is born on July 11, 1934 in Piacenza. Italy is living in suspended years, a country dreaming of modernity, yet marching under the steady step of the regime. His father, Ugo Armani, is an administrative clerk, reserved, precise, practical. His mother, Maria Raimondi, comes from a family of cabinet makers in Piacenza. Elegant, strict, attentive to detail. There is no luxury in their home, no excess, but there is harmony, there is order, and there is dignity. Giorgio grows up with his younger siblings. His brother, Sergio Armani, lively and charming. His sister, Rosanna Armani, gentle and determined. Between games and laughter, he learns to observe the world with attentive eyes. These are years of small gestures, of warm bread and the scent of clean laundry, of simple games and of glances that quietly teach grace. But the calm doesn't last. War arrives like a shadow that steals the breath. Sirens slice through the sky. Runs to the shelters become the new normal. During a bombing, Giorgio Armani is wounded, 40 days in the hospital, 40 days of silence. There he learns that strength does not shout. Strength is recognized in silence. When the war ends, the Armani family begins to breathe again. In 1949, they moved to Milan, a city alive, electric, full of promise. Giorgio Armani is 15 years old. He's quiet. He observes. He absorbs everything. He doesn't know it yet, but that fair-eyed boy will forever change the meaning of elegance. The late 1950s. Milan grows, dreams, works, factories produce, lights come on, Italy is reborn. After finishing high school, Giorgio Armani enrolls in medical school, a choice guided more by duty than by the heart. But anatomy textbooks do not speak the language he feels inside. After 3 years, Giorgio Armani leaves his studies behind. Then comes military service, a time of rules, waiting, and reflection. It's there that he understands his path would not be the scalpels, but elegances. When he returns in 1957, Milan vibrates. It is a city that breathes, that renews itself. In Piazza Duomo, La Rinascente shines, the symbol of an Italy learning to dream again through beauty. A friend opens a door for him. Giorgio Armani steps into La Rinascente. He is not yet a designer. That role, after all, does not truly exist yet. He works alongside architects, observing light, fabrics, proportions. Soon, he is promoted to buying, choosing textiles, studying materials, learning to recognize quality with his eyes and his hands. It is a silent apprenticeship, but a decisive one. It is here that Giorgio understands one thing. Elegance is not born from luxury. It is born from harmony, from calm, from balance. The 1960s arrive like a jolt. Milan changes, the world changes. Fashion, music, life. Everything moves toward freedom. In this moment of upheaval, a decisive figure enters Giorgio Armani's life. Nino Cerruti. Elegant, modern, visionary. A man who understands fabric as a second language. Nino Cerruti is the heir to a great textile dynasty from Biella. He leads one of Europe's most important fashion houses with a clear mission: to free men's fashion from the rigidity of the past. Nino Cerruti is a true innovator, cultured, instinctive. Years later, he will dress Richard Gere in Pretty Woman, becoming one of the great ambassadors of Italian elegance to the world. Nino Cerruti understands who Giorgio Armani truly is, before Giorgio understands it himself. It's 1964 when Giorgio Armani steps through the doors of the Cerruti Maison, no longer as head of buying, but as a creator. He is young, shy, silent, but he has a singular gaze. He sees details others miss. He works on the Hitman line, a visionary challenge, to create men's fashion that is modern, free, and oriented toward the future. Here, he truly learns the craft: pattern makers, paper patterns, fabrics, endless fittings. Giorgio Armani has no traditional fashion training. He learns on the job, with his eyes, with his hands. It is a training ground of precision, discipline, and vision. Giorgio Armani observes. He absorbs. He senses that this lightness is not just style. It is a language that, through him, will change the way the world dresses. And Nino Cerruti leaves him a lesson that will become the heart of his style. Fabric is the starting point. Within it, style already exists. Giorgio Armani is not yet a name, not yet a legend, not yet the king. But it is in these very years that what will make him unique begins to take shape. His eye, his taste, his idea of beauty. A sensibility that is precise, silent, modern. By the late 1960s, Giorgio Armani is in a delicate phase, brilliant yet still hidden within the projects of others. He is a man who observes, studies, refines, a talent waiting for its moment. And it is precisely then that Sergio Gagliotti arrives. One summer evening in 1966, at La Capanina di Forte dei Marmi, a historic venue founded in 1929, destined to become a cult gathering place of Italian summers. Amid music, soft lights, laughter fading into the dark, Giorgio and Sergio meet. A simple encounter, almost accidental, yet destined to mark a before and an after. Sergio Gagliotti is a Tuscan architect, brilliant, irreverent, just enough, the perfect opposite of Giorgio Armani. Sergio is energy, intuition, courage. Giorgio is rigor, discipline, vision. Two opposite characters, yet a perfect fit. Sergio Gagliotti sees in Giorgio Armani something no one had truly seen before. A talent ready to emerge. Together, they will become a singular force in work, in life, and in love. The 1970s arrive, and nothing stays the same. Fashion explodes. It changes. It reinvents itself. Those who want to rise must take risks. They must put their own name on it. Giorgio Armani is nearly 40. No capital, no famous last name. He is self-taught, a pure talent, still unproven. To break through, he must make a huge leap. And alone, Giorgio could never make that leap. But besides Sergio Gagliotti, everything changes. Because Sergio doesn't see limits, he sees potential. And for the first time in Giorgio Armani's life, the future stops being frightening. After years alongside Nino Cerruti, Giorgio Armani feels the time has come to walk on his own. In 1973, he leaves the company. To truly find his style, he must take the risk himself. Together with Sergio Gagliotti, he founds a small fashion consulting firm. Giorgio Armani designs for Max Mara, Allegri, Bagutta. His signature is already clear, clean, modern, essential. In an era of excess, he chooses the opposite, to strip away the unnecessary and leave room for the person. In 1974, the first concrete sign appears. In collaboration with Sycons, the first Giorgio Armani label appears on a leather garment, a label destined to change the course of Italian fashion. That label is only the beginning. Just months later, Giorgio Armani's talent is ready for its first true stage. He presents his first menswear collection in the White Hall of Palazzo Pitti. It's a debut that leaves everyone speechless. Deconstructed jackets, essential lines, subdued colors, white, gray, black, and his beloved blue. A new style, silent, modern. It's the moment when Giorgio Armani stops being a promise and becomes style. But to grow the project, money is needed, and Giorgio doesn't have it. So he sells his beloved Volkswagen Beetle. A painful gesture, yet one filled with hope. And so it is that in an apartment on Corso Venezia in Milan, at once studio, office, and home, on July 24, 1975, Giorgio Armani S.p.A. is born. The company is split down the middle, 50% Giorgio Armani, 50% Sergio Gagliotti. Elegance and vision, genius and courage. It marks the beginning of one of the most powerful partnerships in fashion history. There, amid sleepless nights and sketches spread across the floor, the Armani aesthetic finally takes shape. Clean lines, neutral colors, discreet sensuality. A fashion that does not disguise, but accompanies. In 1976, Giorgio Armani presents his first women's collection at the Hotel Palace Milano. 12 models on the runway, light, deconstructed jackets, masculine sensuality reinvented for a new femininity. Backstage, Sergio Gagliotti brings energy, rhythm, courage, and the models step onto the runway with greater freedom. The catwalk lights up, comes alive. It is here that the Giorgio Armani woman is born. Elegant, without ever seeming dressed. 1978. Diane Keaton wins the Academy Award for Best Actress for Annie Hall, directed by Woody Allen. She arrives at the ceremony wearing Giorgio Armani, a pleated skirt, a white shirt, a greige blazer. A look that instantly becomes the archetype of power dressing. Understated, strong, modern. And for the first time, Hollywood takes notice of Armani. It is creativity, of course, but it is also strategy, vision, and entrepreneurial courage. In 1979, a recognition arrives that few designers in the world can claim, the Neiman Marcus Award. An honor that celebrates not only creativity, but the vision of Giorgio Armani. Then comes the film that changes everything. 1980. American Gigolo is released in theaters. Richard Gere opens his closet, and inside, there are only Giorgio Armani suits. It's no coincidence. It's the strategic choice of a designer who sees far ahead. Two forces of attraction collide, the style of Giorgio Armani and the magnetism of Richard Gere. It becomes an international explosion, destined to enter history. The world falls in love with the way he dresses men. Giorgio Armani understands something before anyone else. To become a global language, you must speak to different generations. In 1981, Emporio Armani and Armani jeans are born. Young, fresh, accessible lines. Armani brings jeans into high fashion and wins over a new audience, the youth. In 1982, Time places Giorgio Armani on its cover, a portrait by Bob Krieger. Before him, only Christian Dior. And that evening, turning the pages of Time, the world understood that Giorgio Armani was not just dressing people. He was redesigning an era. In 1985, the pain arrives that Giorgio Armani never wanted to face. Sergio Gagliotti falls ill, and on August 14, 1985, he is gone. Too soon, too fast. For Giorgio, it is like losing half of his own breath. Milan comes to a standstill for the farewell to Sergio Gagliotti. The church is filled to capacity. Giorgio Armani remains at the back, motionless, a silence heavier than any words. After the death of Sergio Gagliotti, everyone expects Giorgio Armani to give in, to sell, to step back. But he does the opposite. He buys Gagliotti's share. He turns down billion-dollar offers. He holds the helm steady of the project they had built together. It is his silent promise. I will not let this go, ever. In the 1990s, Giorgio Armani is no longer just a designer. He is a global entrepreneur, a man who delegates nothing: lines, lighting, fittings, communication, strategy. The company grows, diversifies, and takes shape. In just 10 years, the group surpasses $1.02 billion in revenue. It is the building of an empire. Giorgio Armani doesn't just want to grow, he wants perfection. He acquires production companies, brings manufacturing back in-house, controls every stitch, every button. He wants every garment to speak his language: order, purity, elegance. In 1991, Giorgio Armani opens a new chapter. AX Armani Exchange is born. A line created specifically for young Americans, urban, fast, immediate. Armani speaks to the youth of the cities, and once again proves that his style does not adapt to the world. It anticipates it. In 2005, Armani Privé is born. His haute couture, lines like engravings, fabrics like light. The stars choose it. And with his infinite discretion, he brings minimalism to the red carpet. Then comes another insight. EA7, a technical line, modern, clean, Italian design, international performance. It will even become a trusted outfitter for Italian national teams and athletes. In those same years, Giorgio Armani builds a complete universe. The home collection, fragrances, the Nobu restaurant, in partnership with chef Nobu Matsuhisa, and Armani Dolci, his line of chocolates, signed with the same elegance as his garments. Giorgio Armani takes his aesthetic beyond fashion. The Armani Hotel Dubai is born inside the Burj Khalifa. And in 2011, the Armani Hotel Milano opens. Luxury becomes architecture, and Armani style becomes a place to inhabit, to live, to breathe. In 2019, Forbes crowns Giorgio Armani as the wealthiest Italian designer in the world. Giorgio Armani officially becomes the king of fashion, a result never shouted, never flaunted, only built, with discipline, silence, and work. As the fashion world is acquired by major French groups, Giorgio Armani stands alone. And he speaks words destined to become legend. My company will not go to anyone. It will remain Italian. It will remain mine. He turns down enormous offers. He defends his independence as a value, not as a luxury. In the years that follow, Giorgio Armani does not slow down. He continues to design every collection, oversee every fitting, choose every image. He works with the same discipline as when he first began in an apartment on Corso Venezia in Milan. In 2021, at the height of the pandemic, an immense honor arrives. President Sergio Mattarella bestows upon Giorgio Armani the title of Knight Grand Cross, the highest honor of the Italian Republic, a tribute to more than half a century of Italian elegance around the world. Deeply moved, Armani will say, "I am proud to represent my country." And as all of this unfolds, awards, recognition, relentless work, Giorgio Armani's life remains true to itself, restrained, silent, essential. And with the discretion that has always defined him for more than 40 years, there is a man by Giorgio Armani's side who knows him like few others. Leo Dell'Orco, who joined the company in 1977 when he was still very young. Over time, he becomes far more than a collaborator. His shadow, his balance, his technical memory, a constant presence, in work, in life, silent, loyal, impeccable. He leads menswear. He is the guardian of the Armani masculine vision, the only person Giorgio truly entrusts with his most intimate lines. And when everything has been built, Giorgio Armani makes one final gesture, a gesture that speaks not of power, but of memory. In 2025, he acquires La Capanina di Forte dei Marmi, the place where, years earlier, he had met Sergio Galeotti, where his story and his vision first came to life. On September 4th, 2025, Giorgio Armani passes away, in his Milan, the city that welcomed him, the city that believed in him. He was 91 years old. He leaves without fanfare, without noise, just as he lived, with discipline, restraint, and silence. Milan comes to a halt. Boutiques dim their lights. Ateliers suspend their work. The city gathers before the lying in state, set up at the Armani Teatro on Via Bergognone. There are those who worked with him, those who knew him, those who simply admired him, a silent tribute, measured. But the most intimate farewell takes place far from the spotlight, in the small church of San Martino in Rivalta, near Piacenza. Beside his family, just as he wished, only a few close friends, a few family members, a private ceremony, essential, measured, just as Giorgio Armani always chose to be. Giorgio Armani was not born into a world of privilege. He became a king without inheriting an empire. He built everything with talent, discipline, elegance, values capable of taking you anywhere. He devoted his entire life, until the very last moment, to his work. And that work, day after day, became his family, his home, his language to the world. Armani never imposed a style. He gave space back to people. His lines were not cages, but a foundation on which everyone could build their own identity. With him, clothing did not command, it accompanied. It did not conceal, it revealed. And this is his true legacy, making simplicity a strength, sobriety a choice, and coherence a form of eternity. Because for Giorgio Armani, elegance was never appearance. It was, above all, a way of living. Giorgio Armani did not create fashion alone. He created style, and that style will continue to live. Thank you for sharing this journey through the life of Giorgio Armani with us. Stay with Quotes of Style to discover more extraordinary lives of those who, like him, turned elegance into a way of living. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next story.